Hi, everyone. My name is Emmanuel Lopez, and I am a MESA STEM counselor. And so we have a amazing program at the community college. A little bit about myself first to begin is I began at MESA Junior College, a community college in the Central Valley in California. And then where I transferred to UC Santa Barbara, where I wanted to be a history teacher. And I was like, this is what I want to do. But then I went into the classroom and I realized I like the high school age, but I started working with a lot of college students as well. And I was like, I really like the college piece. And so I ended up I feel like doing the best of the both worlds because I'm counseling because I love that one-on-one piece, but I'm also teaching at the community college. So I became a community college counselor and I've been at Chabot for 7 years. For the last few years, I've been working in the MESA program. That's a mathematics, engineering, science, academic achievement program. And I feel like I love the program because it's set up for STEM students to transfer. And the reason why that's so important is because we have a huge diverse population at Chabot College. We're a Title V Hispanic serving institution. We were just actually afforded another STEM grant, so we're going to be seeing a lot more resources just pour into Chabot College for our STEM students. And so I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next slide. And so the MESA program, a little bit about that. So I always really encourage, we're not located at every single community college, but most community colleges in California will have something, or a lot of community colleges will actually have a MESA or a TRIO program or something to support students. And we support first-gen students from low-income backgrounds or first-generation college students where the parents never went to college or graduated from a college or university. And why is this key is because this is so critical, because as a first generation college graduate myself, like I always tell my students, like I didn't know who to ask for help. I didn't know who to ask for support. Right. And our program provides that support and that help. And we'll do workshops for our students regarding STEM majors, right? And we will help them with tutoring regarding their STEM courses, our calculus courses, our biology courses, our chemistry courses, right? All of those courses, we provide that tutoring and support. And we also provide a strong faculty mentorship program. So our students that are in the MESA program can actually get connected with faculty within the field that they're interested in and be mentored. So the MESA program, I just can't say enough about it. I love it. I'm sure y'all can kind of see. I'm going to go ahead, but I want to give you also some tips as well on what is helpful for those of you maybe that are students out there, or as well as teachers out there. So just a couple things that I want to throw out for teachers, like the AP units are so important. And we have a lot of students that will come into the community college. They've taken some AP courses, but they never took the exams. That's one thing I tell my students: if you want those units, we're gonna need for you to take that exam. Typically for us, we need at least a score of a 3, 4, or 5, so they can get credit for general education courses, possibly college credit courses for those AP. They work so hard in those AP courses, and I'm sure many of you out there are teachers, right, that are doing those AP courses. You all work so hard for them as well. So we make sure to let them know to take that test, so if they can get that credit, they can get that college credit and just really start, I feel like, ahead of the game when they do that. Many of our students are going to transfer to the CSUs, the California State Universities, or the University of California. We're located in the Bay Area, so by a lot of sense, send a lot of students to UC Berkeley, to UC Davis, to UC Santa Cruz. And if they have some AP units, a lot of times it's nice because we can either shorten the time at the community college because they have some of those units already taken care of, or they can start off quickly and hit the ground running. So I tell my students, if you have any of those AP units and you have any of those, big one for teachers, I always say, make sure to take that test and make sure to let a counselor know right away that you have them. Because we had a lot of students that have taken the AP units or have they taken the AP test, and they'll come in and then they don't let us know, and then they're taking that class over again. So of course we try to ask them as well, but it's always a good reminder to let students know. And then if they have concurrent enrollment or dual enrollment, so if they're taking some courses in high school that are counted for college credit, that is so key, because again, that could save you some courses when you're at the community college. And why is that important? Because as a STEM student, many of our STEM students, we're always telling them you have to start off with your major courses. So you're starting off with your biology course, you're starting off with your math course, and then typically your general education, like an English course. That heavy load is, it could be heavy just starting off. So many of our students were like, you're coming from high school and then you're going to transition into college where it's only Monday and Wednesday or Tuesday and Thursday. And a lot of that reading that is just expected for you on your own. So it's so important to have, like, if you have those AP units or you've taken college courses, you've already understood how some of the college system works, how some of those classes work. Additionally, you don't have to do this alone. I tell my students all the time, join a program like a MESA program. But in the community college, we have tons of programs. Like, we have the extended opportunity programs and services. Of course, we have that MESA program. We'll have STEM programs. We'll have I feel I'm blanking right now, but we have so many different programs for first year experience programs, through the guided pathways programs. You usually can connect with a counselor and we could advise on what programs we have. Now, just remember, every community college works a little different. So just checking in with the students to see what is at their local community college and what programs do they offer and what requirements. And one big thing that we offer is priority registration. And I'm going to tell you right now that priority registration, so they can register that first day or second day of classes, is huge for our STEM students, because it allows them to take those courses that they need and progress in like a timely manner. So those are some things that are just so critical and key. We also have tag programs that we work for, so transfer admission guarantee program with like the UCs, that you can connect with if you take these certain amount of courses, the courses, and you get the certain amount of GPA, then you can go ahead and transfer, and you're guaranteed to transfer to certain UCs like UC Davis, UC Santa Cruz. And a lot of our STEM majors participate in those programs, so they can get that guaranteed admission. One little tip that I tell my students, if you're going to community college and you're taking your STEM series, like your classes, like your math classes or your biology classes, that you just take them at the same community college, because you don't want to call what's called break the series. You don't want to take a biology 1A somewhere and then take a biology 6 at another community college, because when you're transferring, that can create some issues. So some tips. And also through MESA, we help students find REUs, so research experience for undergraduates, which is so important, because I tell my students all the time, like, you want to make sure that you're getting in that experience to know what you're doing, to make sure that you like what you're doing, right? Because otherwise, you're going to get there and be like, oh no, maybe I should have studied this field or researched this field. And the networks that they create and connect through those REUs are just amazing. And these research experience for undergraduates can have students get basically housing, they can get a stipend, and then of course they get the research project that they get some hands-on experience. So they learn a lot. So just some quick tips that I wanted to throw out there for you.
Let's get to some questions. Can students try to like reach out to you directly for like, just some help and direction? Because I know for a lot of students, I imagine that's why they're asking this, for a lot of students, it's very confusing.
For the high school students, we always have to say you have to start with your high school counselor first, because I'm not actually sure the reason why, but I know that that's what they tell them. Like, so, but there's my email out there. If you have a student that's very interested, like, I would love to just give resources, give them a heads up where they can find everything. And then of course, if I have time, I'll definitely reach out.
Resources all the time about STEM education and STEM pathways and all of, like, my work is to try to connect the education with the career. And sometimes I struggle to find it. So I understand this question very well. But where does someone find good information about career pathways? How do they, what careers they might be good at? Like, how do you, like, I maybe am interested in like health sciences, but like, do I want to go respiratory therapist or like phlebotomist?
I could answer that question. We get that a lot, and we have actually a lot of the community college have a career class, and a lot of times what they have embedded is some career assessments that they'll do. And once they get this career assessments, usually they'll work with the counselor, and the counselor can provide them with the resources and be like, oh, you're really interested in the STEM field. Here are some resources that we're going to get you started. Also in the community college, a lot of times we have these pathways that are STEM pathways. that you could actually, if you join like a first year experience program, or you're in a what's called a guided pathway and a STEM pathway that will have actually people from STEM careers come and talk to students about their careers. And they usually start them off with like an intro to STEM class. So those are really great connections I tell my students to take advantage of.
Yeah. You just speak to, like, this is something that's really interesting with STEM careers is transferable skills, right? I actually genuinely know, I know through and through that I am much better at my job because I have a degree in biochemistry, even though it's an education. So how do you see your experiences and educational backgrounds really shaping your current work?
For me, I was just gonna kind of give a couple examples of some students actually that I've had, like some students that for engineering, and they went from engineering to like real estate, which is really just like completely off, right? But they're like, well, in engineering, we're thinking about systems, how do we make things better, and we're organizing them, so we're trying to figure out how to solve this, right? And so what we've done is we've used these skills into real estate, and we've thought, okay, what am I going to buy? What's the property going to buy? What are some problems that are going to happen? How am I going to attack those? And then how am I going to systematically look at it again and do it better and do it better and better and better, right? And then they're really successful. And so a lot of the training that's used, I feel like in STEM has helped my students just do whatever they would like. But I love what Amani's saying is like getting that diverse set of transferable skills is so important, because when I have students, and we have a local Costco and we have a lot of students that work there, right? And so they'll go there and they'll have that customer service experience. And just like you were saying, like they've dealt with so many different types of people that when they get into the STEM world, they're able to relate to so many more. And that just helps them so much tremendously in their career and just going through school and going through classes. So those are just a couple things. I don't know if I hit some of those points, but hopefully.
No, I love it, because I feel like this actually really leads me to the big, for me, when I think about transferable STEM skills, because everyone's always like, oh, the scientific method and like the engineering design process are totally different things. They're not. I mean, like, yeah, they are-ish, but like they're both basically just iterative processes. Can you, take in some information, like look at a problem, apply that information to that problem? Did it work out? Did it not work out? And then figure out how to do it better. And I think, I like to talk about that, because I think that's the piece that we miss all the time, right? Is that it's all just an iterative process, and that's useful everywhere. If you had one piece of advice to give to students, or two is fine too, about sort of embarking on some sort of STEM career pathway, what would it be?
One of the things I tell my students all the time is to do some informational interviewing. Just try to create networks. Like, you don't know who you know, but if you ask enough people, your friends, somebody probably has somebody they know in STEM, and an informational interview where they can just find out a little bit more about what they do every day. If you could do enough of those, you might be able to find your why. And if you're able to find that why, then you're just able to be motivated and just go after it. So that would be my thing.
Awesome. And a tip on finding some scientists, you can just look up the engineering and science societies, because they love to connect with students.